We are live, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to the Life as a Chad YouTube channel. And I thank all of you for being here wherever you may be. And of course, however you may be listening. Ladies and gentlemen, fellas, especially the fellas out there, we will be reacting to a little panel discussion on the whole Andrew Tate situation. Specifically, the panel was on a new platform. This is the first time I've seen this channel, but the person conducting the panel was none other than Piers Morgan, which right off the bat, I got to make a point about goofball dork Piers. I mean, I almost made a video specifically to call Piers Morgan a dork and point out how he is a dork. But even worse than that was the right wing of America and the West, I guess, because I always say America and the West, but it's, anyways, when Piers Morgan had his situation where he pushed back ever so slightly, I can't remember, it was either on like transgender stuff. I can't remember exactly what it was on, but he pushed back ever so slightly. Actually, I think it was fat shaming. I think that's what it was, fat shaming. And the right wing absolutely welcomed him like he was one of their own with open arms, gave him the biggest in the world, had him on all their shows, all their interviews, which I remember also at the time, Katie Hopkins, I believe her name is, super right-wing woman. Love her stuff. Love her stuff. I don't love a ton of women on the right, but I like her. She gets after it. She didn't call anybody out. I mean, she called Pierce out and basically told the right wing and right-wing normal people to be careful of Pierce, that he is basically a party hopper. He jumps around and basically, takes opportunities where he can get it, where it can be good for him and give him some benefit. And that's what he does, a clout chaser. And I gotta say, it's totally true. I am totally ashamed that the right wing welcomed him like they did. But whatever, fuck it. It is what it is. That's what the right wing does. They will take anybody who is either on the left wing, who is a homosexual or is a minority, and go, oh, come on, let's put you on TV so that we can say that we have a right wing, whatever. So, anyways, I just want to point that out. Okay. Piers Morgan is a dork. He's a white knight. He is totally liberal. And I wanted to point that out before we watch a little bit of this clip. And without further ado, let's get into this. Here we go.
What kind of guy is he? I mean, many people who don't know much about him will hear some of the stuff he's been saying, which I play to him and challenge him on.
So this guy, far right, is a New York Times reporter, likely closeted homosexual. And I'm kidding. I don't know. But he is a New York Times reporter. He did an interview with Andrew Tate. Leah Halpern, I believe her name is. Pretty cute. Is a big money person. I wouldn't say she's right wing, but she's certainly not liberal. I think she's probably libertarian. That's what I would say. This is the first time I've seen her. And of course, this is a neo-feminist, feminazi, middle-class housewife. In about 5 years is going to bleach blonde her hair, or, dye her hair fucking pink in about 5 years. Here we go. Let's keep watching. Here we go. Sorry.
In the interview, and they'll be horrified. But what do you think?
He's an incredibly intelligent man. I think what he's doing is very important right now. There's a huge war on masculinity. Men don't.
Absolutely, there is. And this panel shows it.
Really have any kind of role model that they can look up to. Andrew has been very kind and very generous with me. Like I said, I know him personally. I also know him from a business standpoint. I've spent time with him one-on-one. I've never felt uncomfortable. He's never been inappropriate with me. A lot of people accuse him of misogyny. He's never been misogynistic towards me. And I think what he's...
Okay, I want to point this out as well. And this is why I don't want to make too big a point of this point that I'm going to make. But this is why they're definitely, and Jordan Peterson has talked about this. Many people have discussed this. This is why, and I'm not even saying what she is saying is wrong. Okay. It's not. Obviously, she is pro Andrew, and so am I. But this speaks to how difficult it is to have women in the workplace. Okay. You look at her, and on any other given circumstance that Andrew Tate and she met, they would pursue in the most natural way. But as soon as in the workforce comes about, the dynamic totally shifts towards, pointing out, oh, well, he's never been inappropriate. He's that, I've never felt uncomfortable around him, as if that is the number one thing to monitor. And I'm telling you, any woman who watches this video of mine here, I promise you, almost all men in the workplace are way nicer and way more tippy-toed around you than they are to anybody else. And that's just the way it is, because they know, one, that you are far more likely to hurt them either verbally or by, some allegation or whatever, squawking. Two, it's just there's always that sexual dynamic there. And it's anyways. So I just find that interesting, that is something that exists. And this is the new world we live in. And in any other year, this would not be anything that would be even considered in any type of interaction. So, but again, yes, main point, in the workforce, men absolutely act differently around women than they do around their male coworkers. And they should. They absolutely should. It is when people say that women are playing the game on cheat mode, they are 1000% correct. And I think I'm going to do a video on that. I did a little video on men or women in the workforce and what men need to watch out for, but it really is a very interesting topic in and of itself.
doing is incredibly important.
Okay, Ava Santina, your view of this. I mean, just
Say
from
that
the
again, sorry.
exchange we just put a preview of, where he says he prefers 18, 19,
Here comes the femnots. Here comes the femnots.
19-year-old women to 25-year-olds. I think you're 25, aren't you? But
Hell no, Piers. She's fucking like 30. Come on, bruh.
Ask Andrew.
When he generalizes about 25-year-old women in the really, I thought,
Yeah, you're 30.
pretty repulsive manner that he did in public, I think that is misogyny, actually, because he's branding a whole category of women in a very offensive way.
I think it's close to misogyny. I think it's actually...
But no, Piers. Who's offended? You literally have one woman on the panel who says that it's not upsetting to her. But then you have her that is about to say it's upsetting, and therefore, because she says it's upsetting, it's misogynist. I mean, what the fuck are we talking about here? And you just generalized him as you said that he generalizes women.
actually more looking at women as objectively sexual objects, which
They are.
inherently is misogynistic. But it's looking for purity in women. What he's essentially saying between those lines is that he wants some sort of virginal woman. Maybe that's why he takes this girl seriously. I don't...
Women are so competitive with each other. She just took a stab at the Leia Helpburn chick. They are so fucking competitive with each other. And again, in the workforce, you'll definitely see that. Women in the workforce or school, whatever, will have their own little squabbles that are like secondary, but you're like, damn, that really is going on. But it has nothing to do with you as a guy because it's it's totally between them.
I don't know, but I mean, it kind of sounds a little bit like.
But he's, I mean,
come back.
on
It
the other
sounds a
side,
little
he's
bit-
allowed to. I mean, he can have these views. Does anything that he says, or the stuff that you've seen with him, does it cross a line where he deserves to be expunged from all social media, to be banished from the internet?
When you've got to look at the reaction that came off.
Okay. This is a big point right here. The answer is yes or no. And a woman like this, and this is one of the main points I want to make in this video. A woman like this is dangerous for society. A woman like this is the reason that society is in the dire straits that it is in, because she is operating from a place where she looks at it purely off of emotions rather than some logic. What is best for society? What is right? What is wrong? None of those things matter as she answers this question. None of it. And therefore, you get an emotional answer and an emotional outcome because women are actually running society right now. Maybe not purposefully, but they are. A woman like this is very, very, very dangerous.
That. So the people who were duetting his videos or the people who were spreading his messages, when you've got 15-year-old boys espousing these sort of views where you're talking about women in purely sexual terms, and that has come from Andrew Tate.
So what you're saying is yes, because of that, which by the way, the example that she's giving is totally guilt tripping, totally a guilt trip. Because of that, he deserves to rid his ability to have a platform in society. A woman who says that that's okay, or any person who says that that's okay, is a dangerous person. Very dangerous.
Tate, and that's where the problem is.
What do you think?
I don't actually
No, the problem is with you.
think that's a very fair assessment. He didn't say, oh, I only date 19-year-olds, or I prefer. He was making the point, and he could have phrased it better, absolutely. But he's saying
Which
that...
he did concede, actually,
Yeah,
late
exactly.
in the interview.
But the point he's making is, and he's a very intelligent guy, like Leah was saying, so he knows what he's doing when he's saying that. Obviously, he's got a massive reaction from it, so clearly it's worked. But the point is, he's saying that younger women who have had less experience with men in general...
Which is true. They don't have as much baggage. They're more malleable. That's true. It's true. It's true. Have you ever been around a young chick versus being around a chick a few years older? It's night and day. A younger chick is happy. She's full of life. She is adventurous. She's creative. Whereas an older woman who is creeping closer and closer and closer into her own ways, or whatever way that is, but she's set in those ways, she's not as happy. She's not as sunny and bright. I mean, it's totally night and day. I go to coffee shops and I'll have interactions with the young chicks that are just so exuberant and full of it's passion, and it's great. It's great. But then you have a conversation with like a 35-year-old chick and it's totally depressing, totally sad, totally
are more desirable because they don't come with a certain amount of baggage. Now, you could say there are women that are more experienced that come with less baggage because they know what they want, or they're more mature mentally.
But my view is,
what a dumb response.
you shouldn't be talking about women in that generalized
there are
way
people-
at all of any age group.
but there are people with those
I know
views.
a lot of 25-year-old women in my time. They're all very different. It's like the idea that
Yeah.
you
No, they're not. No, they're not. Shut the fuck up, Piers.
bracket them all in this revolting way, which he did, which is just a lad in the nightclub kind of way. It's fine.
See, the only difference between Pierce and the blonde chick is that Pierce finds it revolting and misogynist, but basically says that does not justify him being canceled, even though he basically is okay with it. Whereas the other chick is okay with it totally. And you could argue she's just being more honest than Pierce is.
But that's a
to
generalization.
do it with a big following, I think, is a malevolent influence.
And what is implied there is their sexual history. That is what he's talking about.
Yeah.
But there are women that are 18 that...
More shaming of men's preferences. More shaming.
have a more elaborate sexual history.
Well, let me ask Hugo. Hugo, you spent quite a lot of time with him for your big interview for the Times. What did you actually make of him by the end? When you came away, what did you think of him?
Oh, we got on very well, but then we were two men sitting in his cigar room.
Shocker. What a shock. What a shock.
Bantering, you know. We had a good chat and a very honest chat. I mean, we had a very similar conversation to the
So basically what he's saying is the problem is the women. If only guys, you know, were a part of society taking in Andrew Tate's content, it wouldn't be a problem. But because that's not the case, watch what he's about to say next.
Conversation you're having at the moment. I think in different circumstances, I wouldn't have liked to introduce him to my wife.
So there you have it. There you have it. There you have it.
I wouldn't have liked to have to hang out with him with my female friends. I think that'd be intensely uncomfortable. But I noticed the way that at the moment, what we're
Really? Because he gets a lot of chicks. So are you sure about that, bro? Or would it be intensely awesome? Or would it be intensely amazing?
doing, we're debating whether or not he's nice, whether or not the things he thinks are nice or right. What we're not debating is whether or not they should be allowed.
Right.
And I think it slightly worries me that we've drifted into thinking those are the same debate.
I agree. When did we already become the moral arbiters for whether people should be allowed a social media platform?
You know, beside from his wife comment, I agree with what he's saying. You know, I mean, there's two questions here. One, should it be allowed or not? And then two, is it right or wrong? And those are two entirely different questions, and have most of the time two different answers. Sometimes they're the same answer, but
I mean, let me go back to Leia. I mean, to me, you might find Andrew Tate's views offensive, unsavory, misogynist, as I do.
I love seeing these still frames because you look at Leia and you know her worldview. And then you look at these other two chicks. This is the left is the blonde one is obviously the more liberal one. I don't know about the middle chick. But they look far more happy than she does. This bitch looks so sad. She looks so sad. So sad.
Did on some occasions with him, although he made some concessions in the interview. I'm not sure by the end that I concluded he'd done anything really so heinous he deserved the punishment he's got. That was my real conclusion, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I don't think he said anything wrong. I think all he's doing is talking about reality. And I don't think it's misogynistic to say you prefer a woman that's 18 versus 25. It's literally just a sexual preference. It's the same.
Oh my gosh, did you guys hear the one chick in the background go, "Good God, good God"? Men, never let a bitch like that fucking shame you into preferring a woman like her or any preference. Never allow that, because they will do it. They will do it. They are even more sexualized in certain ways than men are.
Yeah, but that's not. I don't think. Just to jump in, I don't think. Yeah, but I don't think that's the misogyny. I had this argument with my sons earlier when they saw the clip. The misogyny isn't that he has a preference for girls of 18, 19, over 25. The misogyny is in the way he talks about every woman who's 25,
but that's
as if they're all the same and they've all been through this tawdry background which he finds so distasteful. That's obviously ludicrous.
Well, I think he speaks with a lot of hyperbole. His goal was to go viral. Obviously, as Esther mentioned, not all 25-year-old women have been sleeping with every single man that they meet in the nightclub. So there's
a lot. Most have though. Leia, we know that. I mean, fuck. What's your body count, girl? What's your body count?
Always exceptions, but I just think in general, a 25-year-old woman obviously has had more experience than an 18-year-old woman, and some men prefer that, some men don't like that, and I think that's completely fine. I think what really scares me is the censorship that we see online. On Twitter, there's actually porn on Twitter. You have terrorists on Twitter, and yet a man who's just talking about reality and the real dynamics between men and women.
You know what? I have to say, Leia, I think you make a good point. I think the Taliban have Twitter accounts. The Ayatollah of Iran.
That's so crazy, by the way, that the Taliban has Twitter accounts. Sometimes when you look around, you go, the Taliban has Twitter accounts. Does God exist? I mean, we live in like this so weird world. Anyways, guys, I'm going to stop it there. You guys get the gist of it. You know, it's Andrew's gone. It is what it is. I don't see this changing We are absolute until there is a strong or stronger pushback against censorship or any type of censoring. Until that occurs, and we take our power back from bimbos like the blonde chick here, this is just going to continue, because in reality, the people who are making this happen are the bimbos. Right here, left blonde, who, just anyways. So, which is too bad. And if you're ever confused or wondering if we live in a patriarchal society or what type, all you need to look at is the direction this country is going, and you realize very quickly that we are going further and further away from any type of patriarch at all, because we are in a gynocentric society. You can just see it from every example: censoring, emotional responses, chaos. All these things are female types of responses. They are very feminine types of responses. And so it's not surprising at all. All right, guys, like, comment, share. You know the fucking drill. I will see you guys, you noobs, next time. And last but not least, DBAP, don't be a pussy willow. In facts or feelings, because your feelings just don't matter. Love you guys. See you guys next time. Peace.